Hold onto your hearts, because what you're about to hear will shatter everything you thought you knew. The beloved, iconic Bill Cosby, the man who once filled our homes with laughter, love, and the warmth of family, now hides a secret so dark, so devastating, that it pierces straight through the soul. Beneath the smiles,
Pause for a second. Notice how early on this isn't just a scandal. It's framed like a cover-up tied to the FBI itself. If true, this wouldn't just be Hollywood drama. It edges into federal crime territory. Audience, what do you think? Is this grief-driven suspicion, or evidence of something bigger?
Cardigans and the Jell-O puddings, a shadow lurks, one that reaches deep into the heart of Hollywood and whispers to the corridors of power in the FBI itself. And at the center of this storm is a mother's heartbreak, the unrelenting, bone-deep grief of Pamela Warner. Her son, Malcolm Jamal Warner, the bright, innocent Theo Huxtable who once lit up our screens, is gone. His light extinguished too soon, his voice silenced by forces no one dared to speak about. Pamela has spent years drowning in questions, in sleepless nights haunted by the knowledge that her child knew something that cost him his life. Imagine the agony of a parent who sees the truth slipping away, hidden behind lies, deception, and a powerful empire built on manipulation. Cosby's secret deals with the FBI, the leaked footage, the hidden documents, they aren't just evidence. They're the broken pieces of a mother's shattered heart. Every revelation is a blow, every unanswered question a scream into the void. Pamela Warner isn't stopping. She is rising, fearless, fueled by rage, grief, and an unyielding need for justice. And as the world begins to awaken to the truth, the cracks in Cosby's empire widen, exposing the darkness that was buried for decades. This is not just a story. This is betrayal, heartbreak, and tragedy, an emotional earthquake shaking Hollywood to its core. What you are about to witness is raw, intense, and devastating. Prepare yourself. Because once you see the truth behind Cosby's hidden empire, there's no turning back. Your heart will ache, your tears may fall, and your view of everything you believed could crumble forever. Hold onto your seats, because what you're about to hear is going to shake the foundations of everything you thought you knew about Hollywood's golden era and the people we once trusted with our hearts. Bill Cosby, the man who made us laugh, who sat in our living rooms, who felt like family, was not just the father figure we adored. Behind the smiles, the sweaters, and the wholesome jokes, there was a darkness so deep, so sinister, that no one dared to speak it aloud. But now, the truth is coming to light. And it's devastating. At the heart of this storm is a mother's grief so raw, so piercing, that it cuts to the core. Pamela Warner, the mother of Malcolm Jamal Warner, the bright, talented star who became Theo Huxtable in our hearts, has lived with questions, sleepless nights, and a gnawing, unbearable pain for far too long. Her son's life, full of promise, brilliance, and potential, was cut short under circumstances that were never fully explained. An accident?
This is where the story shifts from tragedy to conspiracy. Malcolm allegedly knew secrets that could topple empires. In legal terms, if proven, that could point to obstruction of justice or even wrongful death cover-ups. Imagine carrying knowledge so dangerous that silence feels like the only escape.
Some say so, but Pamela knows better. She knows that Malcolm's light didn't fade naturally. She knows that someone powerful, someone with influence over Hollywood and the corridors of law enforcement, had a hand in silencing him forever. Imagine a life snuffed out not by chance, but by a system designed to protect the very people who should have been held accountable. Malcolm had seen too much. He knew the whispers behind closed doors. He had witnessed secrets that could have toppled empires, exposed the manipulations of the very people we were told to trust, and he wasn't afraid to dig. But digging comes with a price. And for Malcolm, that price was his life. Pamela Warner's journey begins in heartbreak, but it does not end there. Every sleepless night, every unanswered call, every shadowed conversation with those who refused to speak, she turned it into fuel. The more the system tried to hide the truth, the more determined she became. She discovered footage, documents, and recordings that reveal a story more horrifying than anyone could imagine. Bill Cosby, The man we laughed with, the man whose jokes filled living rooms with joy, was reaching into the highest echelons of power, including the FBI, to protect himself. Not just from lawsuits, not just from public scrutiny, but from exposure of secrets so dangerous, so deeply entwined with the fabric of Hollywood's elite that they could destroy careers, lives, and legacies. Malcolm's disappearance from the public eye had always puzzled fans. Where was the boy who lit up the screen with charm, wit, and authenticity? Slowly, piece by piece, the puzzle began to reveal itself. It wasn't mere misfortune or bad career choices. It was suppression, manipulation, and fear. Malcolm had refused to play the Hollywood game.
Think about that for a moment. Cosby allegedly negotiating with federal agents, not to protect himself from false accusations, but to bury the darkest secrets. If that footage holds up in court, it would be explosive. Question for you. Do you believe such evidence would even see the light of day in a trial?
He refused to compromise his morals, his integrity, and the truths he knew. And for that, he became a threat. A threat to an empire built on smiles in public and shadows in private. Pamela Warner's discoveries are nothing short of explosive. Newly surfaced footage allegedly shows Cosby in conversation with federal agents, not asking for protection from false allegations, but negotiating to cover up his darkest secrets. Documents hint at deals that protected him, protected those around him, and ensured that anyone who dared speak out was silenced. And Malcolm? He was on the verge of uncovering it all. The very truth Cosby tried to bury may have been what led to his tragic, untimely death. The emotional weight of this reality is almost unbearable. Think about a mother whose child's life was stolen, not by fate, but by deception and power. Pamela's pain resonates not just with those who knew Malcolm, but with anyone who has ever felt powerless against a system designed to protect the guilty. Her fight is a beacon of courage in a world where silence has long been the currency of the powerful. She is no longer asking questions quietly.
Malcolm's own words. If anything happens to me, look at Cosby. This feels like a chilling foreshadowing, almost like a legal affidavit from beyond the grave. Audience, does this make his case stronger in your eyes, or is it just haunting coincidence?
He is demanding answers, challenging the untouchables, and unearthing truths that were meant to stay buried forever. And the public response is nothing short of seismic. Social media erupts. Hashtags like #JusticeForMalcolm and #CosbyCoverUp trend worldwide. People are outraged. They are crying, questioning, demanding accountability, and realizing that the world they thought they knew, the Hollywood they idolized, is not what it seemed. Every leaked document, every recording, every shocking revelation is a reminder that power without accountability can crush even the brightest stars. But this story is more than outrage, it's heartbreak. Malcolm's journal, now public, reveals a young man haunted by knowledge too heavy for anyone to carry alone. If anything happens to me, he wrote, look at Cosby, the man with the power to destroy lives. Those words, written in fear and foresight, are now echoing louder than ever. They are a testament to the courage of a boy who refused to be silenced, and a warning to those who think the powerful can hide forever. Pamela Warner's pursuit of justice is relentless. She has taken the battle to every front, legal, media, and social. Every revelation she uncovers is another strike against a system that tried to erase her son, silence his voice, and protect the untouchable. And as the world watches, the pressure mounts. Cosby's carefully curated image, once untouchable, is cracking. His empire of influence is shaking. And the truth, no matter how deeply buried, is clawing its way to the surface. This is not just a story of scandal. It is a story of loss, courage, and relentless pursuit of justice. It is about a mother who refuses to let the world forget her son. It is about a young man whose life and legacy were stolen, but whose truth is now finally being heard. And it is about the people who believed that power could shield them from exposure, only to realize that the world is watching and justice finally is catching up. Hold your hearts, because what comes next will challenge everything you think you know. The empire of smiles is crumbling, and the voices that were silenced are beginning to roar. Pamela Warner is just getting started, and the world is about to witness a truth so shocking, so emotionally devastating, that no one will ever look at Hollywood the same way again. The darkness that enveloped Hollywood has rarely been exposed like this before. As Pamela Warner steps into the light, her determination pierces through the shadows that have long protected the untouchable. Bill Cosby, once revered as America's beloved father figure, is now being forced to confront a truth that the world is only just beginning to see. The empire he built, the smiles he plastered across faces on television, the charm that captivated millions behind
This line, "If anything happens to me, look at Cosby," isn't just emotional. It could serve as what lawyers call a dying declaration if tied to the circumstances of his death. Courts sometimes treat that as powerful evidence. What do you think? Should words like these carry legal weight?
it all was manipulation, secrecy, and a terrifying reach that extended to the highest levels of law enforcement. And Malcolm Jamal Warner's death? The unraveling of this mystery reveals it was never an accident. Imagine the weight of knowing that your child, your bright, shining star, saw too much. That he understood the machinery of corruption behind Hollywood's glossy veneer. That he witnessed the threads connecting powerful figures to federal agencies, threads woven to protect themselves and silence anyone who threatened exposure. And for Malcolm, that knowledge was deadly. His brilliance, his integrity, and his refusal to be silenced made him a target. And in the final chapters of his life, he became aware that speaking the truth could cost him everything. Pamela's journey is nothing short of heroic, yet heartbreakingly painful. She combed through years of documents, leaked recordings, and confidential files that revealed Bill Cosby's extraordinary measures to protect not just his own reputation, but a network of powerful allies who thrived in secrecy. Every page, every clip, every whispered conversation she uncovered added another layer of shock, another fracture in the facade that the public had once trusted. The footage showing Cosby coordinating with federal agents is almost unbearable to watch. A man once adored by millions, negotiating deals that suppressed truth and protected darkness. Malcolm's own preparations for exposing these secrets come to light. Reports indicate he was working on something monumental, a documentary, a record, a revelation that would have ripped the curtain away from Hollywood's most tightly held secrets. He had begun piecing together years of cover-ups, manipulations, and silences, understanding the risks and the enemies he would face. And perhaps, tragically, that knowledge made him a threat that someone powerful could no longer ignore. The intensity of Pamela Warner's fight cannot be overstated. With each discovery, her resolve only strengthened. She took the battle to social media, to news outlets, and to the public square, revealing recordings, footage, and confidential documents that painted a picture so shocking it sent shockwaves across the globe. Hashtag Justice for Malcolm began trending within hours, and the world started asking questions it had never dared to ask before. How deep did Cosby's reach go? How many lives had been manipulated, controlled, and destroyed to protect a fabricated image of innocence? And the revelations are far from abstract. They're intensely human. They're about a mother's grief, a child's lost potential, and the cruelty of power unchecked. Pamela Warner's voice, raw with emotion, carries the pain of every parent who has lost a child to forces beyond comprehension. She recounts Malcolm's final days, the secrecy, the fear, the quiet determination to reveal the truth. Every detail she uncovers, every piece of evidence she shares, is a testament to a young man who refused to accept silence as justice. Cosby's empire, once seemingly untouchable, begins to fracture. Legal teams scramble, media outlets buzz with leaked evidence, and Hollywood insiders whisper about cracks appearing in the walls of one of the most meticulously controlled images in entertainment history. But public outrage is the real force at play. Social media is alight with fury and grief, uniting millions around Pamela Warner's cause. People who had adored Cosby are now grappling with betrayal, confusion, and a visceral sadness at what was hidden behind decades of laughter and charm. The narrative grows darker as more details emerge. Anonymous sources leak conversations and documents revealing the extent of Cosby's coordination with powerful figures, including politicians, media executives, and federal agents. His influence was not limited to fame. It extended into control over careers, control over reputations, control over truth itself. And Malcolm Jamal Warner, with his honesty, integrity, and refusal to compromise, became a threat that the system could not allow to remain unchallenged. Pamela Warner's campaign to expose the truth is relentless. Every press conference, every media interview, every public statement is fueled by a grief so profound it commands attention. The world begins to see the scope of the darkness she faces, not just a single person, but a network of power so entrenched that it took a lifetime of courage to confront it. And yet, she refuses to back down.
And here's the bigger picture. Pamela's battle isn't just personal. It's symbolic of every case where power shields the guilty. Whether you believe the allegations or not, the legal and emotional stakes here remind us how fragile justice can be when fame and influence are at play.
She is the voice of the silenced, the champion for the truth, and the mother who will not let her son's life and legacy be erased. The emotional weight of these revelations cannot be underestimated. Imagine a mother holding her son's journal, reading words that hint at knowledge so dangerous that it may have cost him his life. If anything happens to me, look at Cosby. Those words, once private, now resonate with millions around the world. They are not just words, they are a cry for justice, a warning, and a testament to courage in the face of insurmountable power. As the story spreads, the impact grows. Hollywood is forced to confront itself. Fans, former co-stars, and journalists all weigh in, demanding accountability. Cosby's legal team struggles to contain the fallout, dismissing evidence as old or irrelevant, but the public refuses to be silenced. The intensity of collective outrage grows daily as people begin to understand the depth of manipulation, deception, and cover-ups that had protected Cosby for decades. Pamela Warner's fight is more than personal, it is symbolic. It represents the exposure of corruption, the pursuit of truth against all odds, and the emotional weight of confronting a world that has long tolerated lies behind smiles. This video closes on a dramatic note, reminding the audience of the stakes, the heartbreak, and the courage required to face such immense darkness. The fight is far from over, but one thing is clear: Pamela Warner will not rest, and the world will continue to witness the unraveling of a once untouchable empire. Cosby's carefully constructed image is cracking, and the truth, painful, shocking, and deeply emotional, is emerging piece by piece for the entire world to see. The world is watching. Pamela Warner's relentless fight for justice has turned from a private battle into a global phenomenon, and the truth she has unearthed is more shocking than anyone could have imagined. Bill Cosby, the man who once sat in our living rooms as the embodiment of warmth, humor, and family values, now faces the exposure of a lifetime. The empire he built on charm and trust is crumbling under the weight of evidence, recordings, and documents that reveal a story darker than Hollywood has ever seen. Every revelation brings new heartbreak. The tapes, the files, the eyewitness accounts, they all point to one undeniable truth. Cosby's influence extended far beyond comedy, beyond television, beyond the smiles we once trusted. He was orchestrating power behind the scenes, manipulating the lives of those who crossed him, and silencing anyone who threatened his carefully constructed image. And at the center of this storm was Malcolm Jamal Warner, the boy who became Theo Huxtable, the young man whose brilliance and integrity made him a target. Pamela Warner's courage cannot be overstated. With every interview, every press conference, every piece of evidence she releases, she not only honors her son's memory, but exposes the machinery of deception that has protected the powerful for decades. Social media continues to erupt in response, as hashtags like #JusticeForMalcolm and #CosbyCoverUp dominate trends worldwide. Public outrage grows with every leaked tape, every confidential file, and every whispered confirmation that Cosby's network of influence was vast, insidious, and deadly. Malcolm's journal, now public, serves as both a warning and a roadmap to the truth. His words echo with the fear he carried and the knowledge he could no longer keep secret. "If anything happens to me, look at Cosby." Those words, chilling in their prescience, are now a rallying cry for justice. Millions feel the weight of this tragedy, not just as fans, but as witnesses to a system that allowed a young man's life to be extinguished to protect power and secrecy. The leaked FBI footage adds a level of intensity that is almost unbearable. Cosby is seen negotiating, not for protection from criminal charges, but to suppress information that could destroy careers, reputations, and the carefully guarded illusions of Hollywood's elite. The recordings are stark, tense, and emotional. Every word, every gesture, every subtle expression exposes the desperation of a man who believed himself untouchable until now. Pamela's fight reaches beyond grief. It is a battle for accountability, for transparency, for justice in a world where silence has long been the norm. She uncovers meetings, backroom deals, and secret agreements that reveal a network of enablers, Hollywood executives, media moguls, even political figures, working to suppress the truth. And yet, her determination never wavers. She is the storm, the voice of the silenced, the mother who refuses to let her son's life be erased from history. Public reaction intensifies. Protesters gather outside Cosby's estate. Former co-stars, journalists, and fans demand answers. The air is thick with emotion, grief, and outrage. Social media platforms overflow with emotional tributes to Malcolm, anger at Cosby, and calls for justice. The world has awakened to a reality far more sinister than anyone expected, and the demand for accountability is unrelenting. The story's intensity escalates further as more evidence surfaces. Documents reveal that Cosby was not just protecting himself, he was protecting a network of powerful figures whose influence reached every corner of Hollywood. These revelations expose a system built on manipulation, fear, and control, where truth was suppressed to maintain power. Every leaked document, every recorded conversation, every corroborated report paints a picture of a man and a system willing to destroy lives to preserve its image. Pamela Warner's courage inspires millions. Her unyielding pursuit of justice forces the public to confront uncomfortable truths about power, influence, and corruption. She is a mother demanding answers for her child, a woman exposing a network of secrecy, and a symbol of hope for anyone who has ever been silenced by the powerful. Her fight is relentless, every step forward a testament to love, determination, and the refusal to accept injustice. The emotional weight of the revelations is profound. The loss of Malcolm Jamal Warner is no longer just a personal tragedy, it is a symbol of the consequences of unchecked power. His life, full of promise, ended because he refused to bow to corruption. His mother's voice, amplified by social media and media coverage, turns grief into action, sadness into outrage, and heartbreak into a movement demanding truth. Cosby's empire is unraveling. Legal teams scramble to contain the damage, but public pressure and media exposure are unstoppable. Every leaked tape, every revealed document, every eyewitness account chips away at the carefully constructed facade of innocence. The world watches in shock as the man who once seemed untouchable faces the consequences of decades of manipulation, secrecy, and abuse of power. Pamela's revelations continue to intensify the drama. She presents sealed FBI reports showing that Malcolm was monitored in the months leading up to his death and that the official accident label masks a chilling reality. Experts, insiders, and witnesses corroborate her findings, adding credibility to the narrative and heightening the tension. Every new revelation sends shockwaves through Hollywood, the media, and the public at large. As the investigation deepens, it becomes clear that Cosby's influence was both wide and insidious. From career sabotage to media manipulation, from legal threats to secret deals, his reach was designed to protect the powerful at the expense of truth and human lives. Malcolm Jamal Warner, with his courage and integrity, became the ultimate threat to this carefully orchestrated system, and the price he paid was the most tragic of all. Pamela Warner's pursuit of justice transforms from personal grief into a global movement. The public rallies behind her. Social media campaigns, protest movements, and investigative journalists amplify her findings, exposing the corruption and manipulation that have long protected Cosby and his allies. The emotional resonance of her fight captures hearts worldwide, turning a story of loss into a story of relentless courage and the pursuit of truth. The climax of this video focuses on Pamela Warner standing firm against a tide of power and secrecy. Every revelation, every leaked file, every recording underscores the danger and complexity of her fight, but also the indomitable human spirit that drives it. Malcolm's journal, his words, and his life serve as both a warning. Cosby's legacy, once thought untouchable, now hangs in the balance. The world watches, grieves, and demands answers. Pamela Warner has turned grief into action, heartbreak into a campaign for truth, and loss into a powerful force that no one, not even the most powerful, can ignore. The story is far from over, but the message is clear. Injustice will not remain hidden, silence will not prevail, and the truth, painful, shocking, and profoundly emotional, will emerge. As the screen fades, the audience is left with a sense of anticipation, heartbreak, and awe. The struggle for Malcolm's justice continues, Pamela Warner remains unyielding, and the world stands witness to the fall of a carefully constructed empire. Bill Cosby's hidden dealings, his manipulation, and the tragic loss of Malcolm Jamal Warner are no longer secrets. They are a global call to accountability, emotional resonance, and the power of a mother's relentless fight for the truth. The story doesn't end here. The truth that Pamela Warner is uncovering shakes the very foundations of Hollywood, power, and secrecy. Every revelation, every leaked tape, every confidential document exposes a world that we thought we knew, a world where the lives of innocent people can be silenced to protect the powerful. And now you, the audience, are part of this fight. Don't just scroll past. Don't just watch. Feel the heartbreak. Feel the anger. Feel the injustice that Malcolm Jamal Warner endured and that Pamela Warner continues to confront every single day. Share this story, speak about it, demand accountability. The more voices rise, the more impossible it becomes for the truth to be buried. Every like, every comment, every share is a stand against silence, a stand for justice, and a stand for every life that was touched, harmed, or lost in the shadow of power. Subscribe and hit the notification bell because this story is far from over. Pamela Warner is digging deeper, uncovering secrets that could shake Hollywood to its core. New evidence, shocking revelations, and emotional testimonies are coming next, and you'll want to witness every moment. Remember Malcolm's words, "If anything happens to me, look at Cosby." Let those words resonate. Let them fuel the fire. Justice is not a spectator sport, it's a movement. And you, watching right now, have the power to be part of it. Stand with Pamela, demand answers, and join millions of others who refuse to stay silent. The truth is unfolding, and it's raw, it's tragic, and it's unstoppable. Don't miss a second of it. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and let the world know the era of hidden secrets and silenced voices is over. This is justice. This is Malcolm's legacy. And this is just the beginning.